to the today's session. Today we'll be continuing the topic cell membrane. In the previous session we discussed on the fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane, and now let us see some other aspects on cell membrane. First, let's see about the permeability of plasma membrane. Regarding the permeability, three categories of molecules. First one is gases, second is hydrophobic molecules, and third one is polar molecules, small polar molecules specifically. These three categories of molecules can pass through the membrane easily. They are permeable. While another two categories, that is the large polar molecules like glucose and amino acids, and the charged molecules like ions, these two categories are impermeable to membrane. That doesn't mean that can never pass through the membrane. That is, they cannot pass through the membrane by their own, but they can pass with the aid of some other transporters, and that we are not discussing now. We will see it in some other session. Okay, so that is about the permeability. And now let's see about the fluidity of membrane. We know that the membrane, it is made up of phospholipid molecules, and these phospholipid molecules, the membrane can undergo a phase transition. It can have two states of existence, that is a gel-like consistency and another is a fluid-like consistency. And how they undergo these phase changes, and what is the condition that makes this transition. Here, below 37 degrees Celsius, membrane undergo phase transition from fluid to gel-like consistency when it is below 37 degrees Celsius. And as the temperature increases, here in this figure it is clearly seen, this figure is not like this. The orientation of phospholipids is different in these two cases. Here we can see the polar head and the tail regions. The tail regions are arranged or oriented in a clear manner. They are oriented in a particular manner, while here they are distorted. They are far apart. The tails are close here. Both the tails of the phospholipids they align closely here, while here in this case the tails are far apart. They are distorted in every phospholipid. So what is the condition that made them distorted appearance? It is the heat. That is, when heat or the temperature increases, the fluidity increases. Here they are closely aligned and tightly packed. When temperature increases, the tails become far apart, they become distorted, and the space increases between them and it becomes more fluid. Okay, once again, the tails of individual phospholipid molecules are attracted to one another in this case when they line up close together here, and this causes the membrane to become less fluid because aligned molecules must pull apart from one another before they can move about in the membrane. The greater the degree of alignment, the less fluid the membrane will be. And here in this case, when the temperature increases, the phospholipid molecules are not closely aligned, they become far apart, and as the space between the phospholipid increases, it becomes more fluid. So when temperature increases, the membrane becomes more fluid. So that is the point you must take to note down. And long saturated fatty acyl chains, the less fluid will be the membrane, and the short or unsaturated fatty acyl chains, the membrane will be more fluid. Here the tails are longer when compared to this one. when the tails are longer, there will be more bones will be formed. They will be more tightly attached or more aligned. While if the fatty acid chains are shorter, there will be less van der Waals folds will be there, so they will be less aligned and less fluid. So 2 points you must note down. First one is when temperature increases, fluidity increases. Second one is if the fatty acid chains are longer, the membranes will be less fluid. If the fatty acid chains are shorter, the membrane will be more fluid. Then next point regarding the fluidity you must take to mind is if the fatty acyl chains have double bonds in their carbon chain, if they have double bonds, they form kinks. Kinks are nothing but these type of structures. They form. This is called a kink. Here this phospholipid is closely aligned. Both the tails are closely aligned, while in this case one tail is far apart, and this distorted structure is called a kink. So this type of kink formation occurs if the tail has a double bond in its carbon chain. So membranes are more fluid when they contain more unsaturated fatty acid, that is they have double bonds in the unsaturation means they have double bonds. Membranes are more fluid when they contain more unsaturated fatty acids within their phospholipids. More unsaturated fatty acids result in increased distance between the lipids, making the layer more fluid. You can understand from the two figures here. Here there is no space in between the phospholipids. They are closely packed here, while here the tail has double bonds, or the fatty acids are unsaturated, so they form kinks. This is the structure of fatty phospholipids having an unsaturated fatty acid in their tail. So this type of phospholipids form kinks, and so the distance between the phospholipids increases and the membrane becomes more fluid. So these are the other points regarding the fluidity. Now coming to the role of cholesterol. Cholesterol also has to play a role in regarding the fluidity of a membrane. So that is mentioned here. These cholesterols, they can bind to the hydrocarbon tails and make their alignment. They make them closely packed. You can see it in this figure here. Without cholesterol, this one is without cholesterol, phosphatidylcholine. PC is phosphatidylcholine. So this phospholipid is having this type of tail arrangement, while a cholesterol molecule comes and attaches to this tail molecule. Then see how this orientation changes. It becomes closely packed and closely aligned. So it becomes more aligned in the presence of cholesterol. So this is here, the same is the case here also in sphingomyelin. Here also cholesterol helps the phospholipids to become closely aligned. And next one is if the phospholipids are unsaturated, there are kinks in the tails that we have already mentioned in the previous slide, and the cholesterol molecules can fill in and anchor them, making the membrane less fluid. Let's see how it works. Look at this figure here. These phospholipids are having kinks, that is they are having unsaturation or double bond in the fatty acid chain here. So they form kink here. So what does cholesterol do? We know that the phospholipid membrane having phospholipids with kinks will be more fluid. So when cholesterol comes and binds in between in this kink region, it fills the space here. Okay, it fills the space here, and thus the membrane becomes less fluid. So that is another role played by cholesterol in the fluidity maintenance. And that is all about the fluidity part. And next point is lipid composition influences the physical properties of a membrane. That is, a membrane has a phospholipid composition which differs with the environment. Different cells generate membranes with differing lipid composition in response to their environment. That is, in a stressed condition, for example, the lining of intestinal tract where dietary nutrients are digested have a ratio of sphingolipid to phosphoglyceride to cholesterol ratio will be 1:1:1. While in a normal case, when it is not stressed, the ratio will be 0.5 to 1.5:1. So that is an important point. In stressed condition, the ratio will be 1:1:1, and in normal condition, the ratio will be 0.5 to 1.5:1. So that is all regarding the lipid composition. And another aspect of membrane is lateral diffusion. We know that membrane is made up of phospholipids, and these phospholipids can flip or flop their position. That is, they can undergo lateral diffusion normally. This phospholipid can move and come to this position. This can come and move to this position. And likewise, each phospholipid is not stable at a position. It continuously keeps on moving around in the phospholipid membrane, and that is called lateral diffusion. This layer, these phospholipids move along anywhere in this layer. That type of movement is called lateral diffusion. And if this phospholipid comes and moves to the lower layer and the lower one moves to upper layer, or vice versa, anyway, in both the ways, that type of movement, the phospholipid in one layer flips its position to the another layer, that type of movement is called flip-flop movement. And this type of movement, it rotates in its own position, it keeps on rotating, that is called rotation. So 3 different types of movement. First one, lateral diffusion, that is, the phospholipid keeps on moving its position within the same layer, that is called lateral diffusion, and in between the two layers the movement is called flip-flop movement, and in the same position it keeps on rotation, that is called rotation. So these 3 types of movements are being made by the phospholipids every single second. So this is another experiment, FRAP, fluorescence recovery after photobleaching. This states, or it substantiates, that the membrane lipids or membrane proteins are always dynamic, they are not stable. So what this experiment was, how it was done was, the membrane proteins, here we can see the yellow colored membrane proteins are these, and these proteins were fluorescently labeled. They were labeled with a fluorescent dye. This blue color is the dye, and every membrane protein was labeled uniformly. Then a portion of the membrane was bleached, photo bleached with laser beams. So this much of proteins, this area was bleached, and they are now not having the fluorescence. After some time, the same cell was observed under microscope, and they found that the fluorescence was recovered in that area. You can see fluorescent molecules are now found here, and the non-fluorescent molecules moved. That means, what does this mean? It means nothing but the membrane proteins are constantly moving, they are dynamic. So this was an experiment done to prove this concept. Okay, so that is all regarding the plasma membrane, and we have to go on through the functions of plasma membrane that I will